Yes, we are live.
Yes, I guess.
Can everybody hear us?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, people are
I see
typing.
someone is typing, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Cool. So there
Ooh.
is the chat functionality. You can already send messages on the bottom, on the right. Okay, you can also react. Cool.
Yes, beautiful. Audio is good, video is good, everything is operational.
And we are ready to go.
Everything
Hello
is good
from
to go.
Germany. Hi.
Great. Servus. Yes, this is going to be recorded, and I think tomorrow we are also going to upload it into YouTube.
Yes.
If everything goes fine. From Italy,
Hello.
from Germany.
Let us know in the chat. Where are you from?
Hi, Maria. I suppose it is going to take optimally 1.5 hours. There's quite a lot of subjects we are going to cover. It is quite easy, beginner level, I would say. You do not need to, focus too heavy on following the things on the computer or on the engine. Slowly, you can listen. We will give as much time as possible for you to catch up with us. So we expect nothing bad will happen. Everything will go according to the plan, so we can get things going. Ciro actually joined.
Hey,
Hi.
Ciro.
Amazing.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, there's
so many people
from
all over the world.
Exactly, I was gonna say it's like Mexico, Canada, India. It's really amazing.
Yeah, let's wait maybe a couple more minutes for more people to join us. And meanwhile, we can introduce ourselves too. My name is Sercan Altundaş. I'm one of the developer advocates avocado in Ready Player Me, helping developers integrate Ready Player Me, providing content about that, and writing some code. And I have Amel here and
Hello.
Harrison.
Hi everyone,
Please.
I'm Amel.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a developer advocate, and today we're happy with Sarge to introduce you to the Unity integration for the Ready Player Me SDK, and we also have Harrison with us.
Hey everyone, I'm Harrison. I am living in Estonia with the RPM main office here, but I'm actually from Australia, and I am a senior developer here. I work on kind of everything from the Unity and Unreal SDKs and also some of the web stuff as well. I'm basically just here to help out with any kind of technical questions, and yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. And do we have anybody from Australia, I wonder, in the audience? Not yet? You didn't invite anybody?
Scrolling on the chat.
It could be morning there or something.
Oh yeah, I think too early.
Yeah.
Nice. We are 44 people at the moment,
Nice.
and I wonder if we can hit 50.
Yeah.
So let's wait a couple more minutes. Feel free to write your messages where you're from, and then Zavus, and then we can get to start.
Yes. Yeah, we have someone
Amazing.
from Brazil as well. That's great.
Yes, beautiful. What time is it in Brazil? I think it should be quite late. No, quite early, considering that Earth rotates that way.
I guess.
Hi, Nikhil. Rogerio, 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Lunchtime. Great. So I hope you already had your lunch, because yeah, the workshop is gonna take almost 1.5 hours. So if you need tea, coffee, it's a great time to just go grab it and come back, and we will be ready to start.
Yes.
Yo.
And
Nice.
yeah, so for now, because we're using the chat, we're just getting started. But later during the workshop, if you have any questions, there is the questions tab. So then we make sure that we see them. You can also vote if you want a specific question to be asked from you as well. Yes, we're kicking off soon, and we have 50 people, so I think we're going to start very soon. Did you want to say anything, Sarge? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to answer one of the questions. Yes, the project we are going to work on will be using 2020.3 we are going to specifically use 3.7, but you can use any of the latest versions of 2022. It should just work. So the only worst thing is you might have a little bit of a time importing everything. So because it's going to create some files and all, but it should be quick. I think this is the 10 is the latest, but that should work too. I mean, any of those should work with that. There is nothing really, how to say, breaking changes or very new things that are coming from Unity that we are going to use at the moment. And I think we are good to go. So
yes, I'm gonna maybe start by sharing my screen, and also Doma, we will answer your question very shortly because we will talk about the agenda for today. So I will share my whole screen. 1 second. So for today, we're gonna go through this workshop by following these different steps. I'm going to send the link in the chat for everyone to be able to also follow with us. So you should be able to see it now. So the overview is, of course, today this workshop is designed to introduce Unity developers who want to get started with using Ready Player Me. So we will show you Ready Player Me Studio and also the Ready Player Me Unity SDK and how to integrate it into your project. And here we come to the agenda. So first, we are going to talk about what Ready Player Me is. And then we will talk about Ready Player Me avatar in Web Editor, where you can create your avatar. And then introduce you to the Ready Player Me Studio account, which is a privilege that you have as a developer. And then we will show an example of importing Ready Player Me Unity SDK to show loading avatars in editor at runtime as well. And then integrating avatars in an existing project. So it's not going to be just a small scene with the cube, but we are going to actually take an example of an existing sample game and then integrate our avatars in there. And we have also stretch goals like the avatar optimizations. So even if we don't have time to cover these, you will be able to go through them in these workshop steps on your own after, if you would like to. All right.
Great.
Now, in terms of technical requirements, so this was mentioned already in the description of the event. We had also a small video, but don't worry if you don't have Unity set up yet or Git version, you can click on those links and I will send them as well in the chat. So you can actually get them ready now and you can kick off, all right, the download if it's not done yet. So yeah, preferably we would like to use 2022.3.7 F1. The project was set up on this version, but as Sarge mentioned, it should also adapt if you have any 2022 Unity versions in your computer. So while you are still downloading these, if people didn't do it yet, we are going to move to the next step and talk more a little bit about what is Ready Player Me and create our actual first avatar. So Ready Player Me is a cross-game avatar platform for Unity, Unreal Engine, and all web-based stacks. So today we are going to cover integration in Unity, but we will also have other workshops in the future where we'll cover these other different development environments as well. So what can you do with Ready Player Me? You can create avatars, you can connect them to our partner apps, and you can also manage them. So as we said, you can integrate in this development environment and also mobile native apps that will provide interoperable avatars to your users. So they will be able to actually use them not only in one app, but also multiple apps. You will also be able to create and manage 3D outfits and accessories for your users. So what you will show, I mean, today we will show the demo example, but you can also customize what outfits your users see in the avatars that you use in your game. So it's totally something that you can customize as a developer in your game. So we will start by visiting the Ready Player Me avatar editor website. And again, I will also send this link in the chat. You can also find it in the steps. And when you open this, you will be able to actually create your avatar. So we are going to start by choosing the body type. For today's example, I'm going to use feminine example, and then you can take a photo, or you can also pick a file if you have a photo of yourself that you want to use today. For today's example, I will just continue without a photo, but feel free to do it on your site. I will choose one of the custom avatars that we have proposed here, and then we will wait for it to load. And now we can see the avatar. So you can use the mouse scroller to zoom in. You can also rotate to visualize your avatar. And then here you can start by choosing the face shape, which is the first element in here, the color of the face, and then you can as well change the eyes shape and the color. You have more colors, but also some fancy stuff like these ones that you can use if you would like to. Cool colors. I will go with this one for now. You can also choose the eyebrows, the nose, the mouth shape, and also add a beard with the color. And then we have the haircut, which you can also change the color. So let's go ahead and try some hairstyles. Again, let us know in the chat or in the questions tab if you have any questions or you encounter any issues on your side. And you can visualize all these different haircuts. So I'm going to choose one, maybe. Okay, maybe I'm going to choose this one, something a bit short. And then you can choose the colors. Wait, just hold on 1 second. I'm going to refresh my page because I have so many tabs open now. Can you confirm you see my screen, Sarge? It's all working for you?
Oh, good.
Okay, cool.
I was muted. Yeah, it's all good. There's
Okay.
a slight delay and the video quality sometimes goes down, but it's all fine.
Yeah, I think the connection dropped a little bit. But yeah, so yeah, I was doing the hair color choice. So I am going to go ahead, maybe choose blue. Why not? And then you can choose the outfit. So you can either choose separately the upper body and also the bottom of the clothing, or you can also choose the whole outfit. So you can also have the choose separately, or you can also have the whole outfit. So I'm going to go with this option probably for today. You can feel free to choose any that you think works best for you. I'm going to go ahead, I think, with this one. All right, I think we're all good. You can also choose the accessories from like sunglasses, stuff like this. You can also have this Maybelline cool accessory. You can also choose the makeup, and you can add masks and accessories like hats. So it's a lot of fun stuff to customize. I'm gonna go ahead and get my avatar created. So are you all in this same stage? Were you all able to access Ready Player Me Hub and actually customize your avatars?
I was also wondering if anybody got stuck with Unity install, Git install, please let us know so we can try to help and finalize that. Sometimes Mac or Linux users are running into slight issues, so just want to make sure that.
Sounds good. Yeah, so after we reach this step, so if there is no blockers, I guess we can move forward with the next one, which is getting the sample project. So for the sample, are we all good, I guess? I think you're looking more than me on the chat, Sarge, but if there's anything, stop me. Otherwise, I will continue. Okay.
I think we can continue. Everything looks good so far. I'm trying to answer the incoming questions, so we are up to speed.
Sounds good. So for the sample project, we are going to use the Unity Adventure Game Sample project that you can actually find in the asset store as an example to integrate in. Today, we decided to still upload this project in our Git repository because we upgraded it from the built-in render pipeline to universal render pipeline. So it makes it easy for us to use packages like Shadograph and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to download this. So I have it already downloaded on my computer, but feel free to do this, and I will send it as well in the chat. Does everyone has access to Git, I assume? Yes. If not, we can also send you links on the drive. Yes. And once you have this downloaded, like I have already here, you can double click and then unzip this or extract the files. So to get it.
All right, let's download the project. And yeah, you should be able to access the Git. It's public and open. And make sure to download the zip and unpack it. And then we will continue from the existing project.
Yes. And now once I have my folder unpacked, so I'm going to go ahead and open the Unity Hub. I'm going to click on open here to find my project. And then I'm going to select the project, click open, and then wait for it to open. So while waiting for this to open, I wanted to show another feature here that we have in, which is the capture. Yeah, so I wanted to show this capture option. So I'm going to customize here to be able to actually share your photos. So you can choose the frame. I'm going to choose the whole body frame. Right, here we go. Then you can choose the emotion. So you can make it like super smile, sad, yeah, but natural. Let's say this is smiling is a good emotion. And then you can choose as well the pose. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe pick this one. Background, you can have no background, transparent, or have something a bit more neutral, or something like this, a little bit more like, or you can be in Paris as well if you want. I'm based in Paris, so it's funny to see this custom background. So we have this, and then you can click save. And then you can copy the URL. So I'm going to share my avatar with you in the chat, and feel free to do the same. So everyone who created an avatar, that would be cool to send us the link as well. You can also download this.
Yeah, probably some of you are already opened the Unity project, but it might take a while. So we can always wait until all of you are up to speed with that. And please, again, let us know if anything goes wrong. We can wait and we can try to help you.
Exactly.
Duane, we haven't got to that step yet. It is the next one. So now we will get back to Unity and import the Player Me SDK.
Yes. So this is coming up next, I guess. I'm taking my time to customize my avatar more, just because we're waiting for Unity to open the project. But again, let us know if there is any questions.
It seems like our projects are still important, so we have time to explore Player Me more.
And we can see also we have our avatar here. You can also zoom and all this kind of stuff. But I'm trying to see if there is any links in the chat. So were you all able to create your avatars? Send us the link. Oh, okay. Eric just sent us the link. Let's look into this. Okay, cool. That's really nice. This is Eric avatar, everyone. Introducing. That's really cool.
We also got a couple of questions in the questions tab. Harrison answered them already.
Nice.
And one question about custom outfits, another about VR and working with XR Origin. And we recently brought tools for creating custom outfits in Player Me Studio. There are two ways to work with it. You can either edit a texture in the asset designer and create a custom outfit for yourself. And also in the asset manager, you can actually, following Player Me guides, you can create completely unique 3D outfits and upload that to your subdomain. This is also possible. And as for VR and XR, we do not have a dedicated tutorial yet, but I do remember in YouTube quite many examples existing. We should definitely make some examples ourselves too, considering that we have some updates on the avatars themselves as well coming soon. So that would be really cool to, show off some of the things in VR as well.
And we have some cool avatars here, as you can see, being shared. Thank you all for sharing. So we had one from Berenice, there was this one, and we got this one from Shami, and from Christina, we had this one, and then Rogerio, this one. So it's really cool. Thank you all for sharing your avatars. It's really nice to see how this all comes together. And we have our Unity project open. So I guess I can go ahead and start looking into the project that we just imported and we just opened. So if you look into the assets folder, you will notice that we have mostly 3 folders. So one is the settings that contains URP and quality settings. Then we have the Unity Technologies folder, which is the sample game adventure that we mentioned earlier from Unity. So it contains animations, of course, like models, prefabs, scenes, shaders, and scripts. So like a real game sample. And then we've got our workshop today folder. That's where we're going to focus today. So we have models, prefabs, scripts, and textures. So I'm going to go ahead and click main and press play and see what we have so far in the scene.
If you are already at this stage, you can also go to workshop folder and open the main scene and run the game. So we can see what the already existing game looks like that we are going to bring our Ready Player Me avatar into.
Exactly. So now once you open, you can see that we have this scene that is from the Unity project. And this is an example of an avatar that is textureless. So it's intentional because we want to replace this with our avatar later. But we just wanted to show it as a functional. So a game that is already all functioning. So we can interact. We can also move from one scene to another. So it's a real use case of an example of a game today. And then we're going to go and move in the scene, interact with this guy. He's going to give us a fish, so it's added to the inventory. And yeah, we can move around with the scene and play a little bit. Again, if you have any questions or blockers, please let us know in the chat or in the questions tab if it's a question. And then once we have this working, we can also pick up the sunglasses. And here we go. All right, so I will stop playing, but we should have that working already. So once we have done all these steps and we also run our game and it's all working, we are going to look into the creation of Ready Player Me Studio account. So what is a Ready Player Me Studio account? It's like a privilege that you have as a developer, which will allow you to customize your application, manage custom assets, and create API keys for your application. So I'm going to go ahead and send you in the chat the link to visit the studio. And I'm going to send it here. So I'm going to just open this because I already have an account, just so we see how it looks like for the first time. So here you can either sign in if you have already an account, or you can click to sign up. So you will be able to enter your email address, your first name, last name, and then create your studio account. So once you do this step, you will be on the second part, which will ask you some questions about what's your application name. That will be used later to generate your subdomain link. That will be the way to link your application from this studio to the applications that you actually created in the engine. And then you can also give more other information, for instance, the primary development environment, so we know we can send you updates when there is on any of these platforms and so on. So once you create your account and it's all working here, it should be simple. We can get into our studio. That is what you actually see here. So for me, I have a few examples of applications. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto the Unity workshop. And here you can see that I have its different like configurations and information, including this subdomain. So make sure to remember the subdomain or copy it, or maybe leave this page open because we are going to need it later and I will explain how. Also, please don't use this subdomain from this example today because every link is unique to your application. So make sure you create your own app and then you use your own subdomain link. So were you all able to get to this step? There is the reaction. You can react to put like a thumbs up to say if it's all working for you. So do that just so we know how many people actually got this working so far. Okay, I see thumbs up. That's great. Yeah, to sign into an existing account, when you actually open the link, it will ask you to sign in. So you'll be able to use your email and password. And if you don't have an account, then you can click on the sign up.
Leonardo, could you write which part you exactly missed? We can cover that again if you
Yes.
would like. And everything, again, is already available in the page, so you can try to pace yourself as well if you were not able to follow it.
Yes.
There's also a
right.
quick question in the questions. Will the documents stay up after this meeting? I assume it will, right, guys?
Yes, the page for the workshop and
Yeah.
the project, they will all be publicly available after the workshop too. So if you would like, you can share them. And the video of the session will be also available in YouTube. So you can go over that and again, share with the people you would like them to know more about Ready Player Me, if possible. That would work for us great.
Yes. Do we have any other questions? I think in the question tabs they were covered.
I think there are some login issues. I can't log into my account because I already had an account.
Maybe let me just check.
So
You could maybe
if
use
you
the
do,
forgot password in case
yeah,
you
you can use forgot password to get an email.
Yes. If you already have an account and you don't manage to get in, probably maybe it's the password that is not working. So you could try to.
Let me post the sign in page as well. So
Yes.
in case I will need to log out first. Yeah.
I think you can do it.
If you already had an account and you want to sign in, you can visit this page. And if you forgot your password, there's a forgot password button.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you don't see Unity Workshop, that's totally normal. It's because it's an app that I have created as an example today. So you can call it maybe my app or anything like that. So it's a custom name that you can use for your application today. So this is just an example. So if you don't see Unity Workshop, that's totally normal. Is there any? Yes. So someone's saying like when you click sign up, there is a way to sign in pop up.
Yeah, I also shared the sign in URL as well in case you were not able to find the page.
Yes. Sounds good. I think, wondering if there is any more questions. So
some people are having issue that it automatically redirects to a new account. So this is this is something I didn't encounter before.
They might actually need to because RPM account isn't actually the same as a studio account.
Oh yes, this is one of the things. Ready Player Me account and studio account are different things. One is a user account, one is a developer account.
Yeah.
With Ready Player Me studio account, you are able to create applications, subdomains for your applications. You can use asset manager, asset designer, and some of the other tools. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and create a new account if you didn't have a studio account before.
Yeah, exactly. So just to explain this a little bit more. So when you log in here, this is what we call the Unity Hub that is for users or players. And this is different from the Ready Player Me studio account, which is this one. But when you have a Ready Player Me studio account, you can access both with that email. So as a developer, you're also a user. But as a user, you're not necessarily a developer. So maybe that's the issue. It's because you are trying to use the player or user login to log in as a developer. So yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Harrison, for raising this because it seems like that's the issue. Yeah, I can account.
Yeah, seems like some people are still experiencing issues with that.
Yes.
Yeah, Christina wrote that it says already has an account. Probably the email was used before. So probably she created a. It's like then if it says already has an account, I wonder, could you try forgot password? And if it's sent, it should definitely send you an email.
Yeah, if you have access to the email, it should be possible to do that. All right. Yeah, some people are still having this issue of not able to sign in.
I wonder if cleaning the browser cache would help with that. It might be some kind of a cookie issue that redirects you always to that page if you had that issue. But I think we can continue.
Yes.
On the side from the chat, we can try to help Christina and get this covered.
Awesome. Yes, let us know if there's anything, and maybe Sarge and Harrison can help you, and we will try to show the step where we import actually the SDK. So the Ready Player Me Unity SDK you can access from here, and I'm going to send the link in the chat just now. And if we go there, here we go. So now we should have the link. And now once you open this, you can go to code, and then under HTTPS here, make sure to copy this link. So please not this link on the top. Make sure it's the one that ends with Git. So we copy this, and then we go back to Unity. We go to Window, and then Package Manager. And then there is a little plus on the top left. And then we add a Git URL here. You just paste it, and then you go ahead and click Add. And this should add this package into our project. So again, all you have to do is go to the link that we just sent to the chat, or you can find in the workshop steps, step 6, and then you can copy the link from here, from code, and then you can copy it here. In case you don't have Git installed, or you are having an issue with Git on the bottom that is telling you it's not working, you can go ahead and download this from here, and then you can open this and unpack it or unzip the file. And then we are actually going to add it from disk. So in case you are having issues with Git, we can still import this package as well. So we're just waiting for the import, yes. And here you can see we have Ready Player Me Core, Ready Player Me WebView packages installed, with the dependency as well of GLT fast package being installed. But as I said, in case you see any issue or error saying that you don't have Git in your computer, you can go to Add Package from Disk, and then you go to the package here, and then you can add it manually from the disk. So this is as an alternative in case you are getting some Git issues. And now we should have the SDK installed.
I mean, maybe you can go through the import stage again, because some people probably missed it. There are a couple of messages in the chat as well.
Okay.
So we can cover it
from
again.
Here, yes.
Yeah.
So if we open the link that was sent, we can click on code here. And then you can see the link that is here under HTTPS, and you can copy it if you click on this little icon on the bottom. And once you do this, you go back to Unity, you go to Window, and then you go to Package Manager. Once you have Package Manager open, you can go to the little plus on the top left. And from here, you choose Add Package from Git URL. And then you paste this, Control-V, or right-click paste. And then you can click on Add, and this will add the package in Unity. All good?
Yeah, I think all good.
Awesome. So you just need to wait for it a little bit to actually import. So while we are waiting for the import, we wanted to show you something on the hub as well that you can access. So when we created our avatar earlier, we wanted to show you that you can go also to this Discover app if you wanted to see some examples that are already using Ready Player Me integration. So if you go to most popular, for instance, we can go to Mini Royale example. Here you can connect your avatar or also get the app. So this is an example of a game that is actually using Ready Player Me avatars. You can see screenshots of the avatars integrating in the context of the game. You have the app overview and also the different steps to actually integrate it and how to connect. And then you can also find other apps that are not necessarily games, Hyperworld, Spatial, VRChat for VR users, and the long list over here. So feel free to go to the different categories and look into these if you want to get inspired or you want to see actual examples that are using Ready Player Me. And yes, so this was mostly just to wait for everyone to have the package added. I guess we are all aligned on this. Cool. So if you install the package for the first time, you should be able to see this setup guide window show up. Or if it doesn't show up, you can go to Ready Player Me and then choose setup guide from the menu. And now if we go back, if you remember earlier when I showed the studio account, I said, remember to keep this either open or copy it, the subdomain for your application that you created. So you can go ahead and click here to copy this subdomain link and then go back to Unity and use this subdomain link. So you can see that we have it.
When SDK finishes importing, probably most of you got the setup guide window.
Yes.
This is exactly where we are going to use this keyword, the subdomain. And if you haven't seen this, you can go to Ready Player Me menu up top and click on the setup guide, and it is going to bring this window.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, once you have this window open, you can actually get the link of the subdomain and add it here. Trying to see the chat if everyone is catching up.
By the way, really do not worry if you are late, and please let us know if you were slow to progress. We can always slow down. We can repeat the steps and help you catch up. And everything we go through is already in the website, so we are not really getting out of the curriculum. So you will miss pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
But if you just need some time for any of the steps, let us know. And yeah, we're already trying to maybe answer some questions in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
There were some questions we can take a look. For example, there was one interesting question. If I can change the name of the avatar after it's imported into the scene. So we will get to that step right after this. When you import Ready Player Me avatars through editor, you will see that it comes with a long unique string name. That is to be able to catch that exact ID in the scene. And if you have any changes on the avatar and you want to load it again, so SDK can recognize it and change that avatar on the scene. We were going to do some changes. I think we already have this avatar metadata component on our avatars, which would help with identifying it without the name. But it's best to not change the name of the avatars if you want to always update avatar with the changes you do in the Ready Player Me web editor.
Nice.
And Yevgenia asked if everybody will be able to access the resources after the stream. Yep, everything that is in the chat will be available after the stream as well. The website, the Git repo, the SDK, and the video later, once we finish the workshop, will be available for everybody.
Do we have any? How would you create an avatar at runtime within your app? We're going to answer this live, I guess. You want to go ahead, Sarge? Or yeah.
Avatar in runtime. Actually, this is one of the things we are pretty much going to do in this workshop. I would rather save the answer to demonstrate directly in the workshop when we get to that step, because we will write a couple of lines of code, show how avatars can be loaded in the runtime. with a
Yeah.
button click or when the scene starts, so you can load your avatar not only in editor, but when the
Yes.
game is running.
Yeah, so for loading the avatars, we will show both examples today. And also if specifically asking about the creation, like what we just did here in the web view, when we created our avatar, there is also a way to do it because now we have the custom avatar creator SDK. So it's not covered in today's workshop, but we are having a blog post coming out probably this week or maybe early next week that will cover this. So you will be able to actually create and customize your avatar within Unity, if this was also the part of the question. Yeah. And do we have any other questions in the questions tab? I think all the questions were answered, but maybe the chat, if there is anything. So the subdomain is one in the studio. Yeah, so it's usually the name of your app and then .readyplayer.me. So yeah, it depends what you have called your application, and then you will see it. And usually if you have two apps that have the more or less the same name in another studio account of someone else, it will be adding maybe numbers or something to make it unique. So the subdomain link is already always unique to your app.
Amel, there's still some that are having issues creating studio accounts. Should we just get them to use demo subdomain?
We could, yes.
Yeah, that would also work. So yeah, if you were not able to create studio account, when the setup guide shows up, you can just type in demo. Also, there is a checkbox underneath that
Yes.
says I do not have an account, use demo subdomain. So it automatically turns that into demo.
Yeah,
The best case is to be able to using your own account. So
Yes.
later the changes you do are persistent. If you use demo, some of the features of the editor itself will not be visible. So this is the idea to getting you on board with the full features.
Exactly. So yeah, as it was mentioned, you can click here and tick I don't have an account, use the demo subdomain instead, in case you were not able to create a studio account. Otherwise, feel free to put your subdomain here, and then you can use that today. I managed in the end. Cool, Christina. Really great that it worked in the end. We'll be also talking about the LODs. So that's part of the stretch goals of optimization. We have it in the end of the workshop as optional. So if we have some time, we can maybe go through that. Otherwise, you will have it in as part of the workshop here in the end. So if we go to optimization, yeah, you can see avatar optimization step, and then that covers also the LODs in case. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Oh yeah, sorry, you answered that, Sarge.
No worries.
Okay. Yeah, so once you all reach this step, you either use your own subdomain or you can use the demo one. Then you can go ahead and click next into the setup guide, and then you can say analytics enabled or whatever is your preference, and then you can finish the setup. This will open the integration guide. This will help you to get started, quick start scene. You can also learn how to load avatars, add animations, integrate the avatar creator, and optimize the performance. Today, we are going to skip these because we are focusing on the goal that we have for the different steps of today's workshop. But you can always access this by going to Ready Player Me integration guide. So if after this workshop, you're curious to know more about animation, let's say, you can go ahead and check this out later. So I guess we are all more or less on the same stage. I don't see anyone going through some blockers now, I guess. All right, I see thumbs up. That's great. So it's a good sign, and I guess we can move forward. So the next step would be to actually import our avatar. So we have created this avatar earlier, and you guys shared these very beautiful pictures of your avatars. Now it's time to actually import this into Unity and see it. So if you click here on the bottom, you can see that we have this link that is called the copy avatar link. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. So again, you go here on the bottom, and then you can copy the avatar link. Once you do this, you can go to Unity, and then you click to Ready Player Me Avatar Loader. And from here, you will be able to add your link into the avatar URL filled. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it here, copy paste, and then load avatar into the current scene. It's gonna take just a few seconds to load, and here we go, it's already loaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and double click. I'm gonna just disable the canvas for a second just so we can focus on the character. And here you can see my avatar imported. You can use the right mouse and the middle mouse button to look around. And this is our avatar loaded in our scene. And here we go. So I'm gonna enable again the canvas, but this is our avatar imported in the editor. So again, you get your link, Ready Player Me, avatar loader, and then you add the link here. And then you just go ahead and hit load avatar into the current scene, which will add this game object that is actually your avatar that you have just created in the step that we have mentioned earlier.
All right. I wonder if I know some of the people still have some issues and are behind, but I wonder if everybody was able to get to load an avatar in this scene. So if all worked up to that point.
Yes, I see some
Kevin
thumbs. That's
and
cool.
Doma are typing, so I'm also waiting for their messages. Okay,
So-
everything is fine for Doma.
Sounds good. And Shami, we are not able to access the drive. It's it says access denied. And
All right.
And I think we are all good in terms of importing the Ready Player Me in editor, I guess, right? So I see there's one question just if we want to cover. Or was it already answered? Okay, I think it was already answered. Cool. And I guess now the next step would be to actually load the avatars in at runtime. And I think I will leave the floor to you, Sarge. So I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay, let's get to it. So let me share my screen. So I will mostly be working in Unity. And yeah, this is the part we are going to write a little bit of a code and get to load the Ready Player Me avatars in the runtime. So Amel already showed you. You can go to Ready Player Me avatar loader window, and in the editor, we can load our Ready Player Me avatars. In this case, in the game itself, our goal is to replace this white textureless default avatar with a Ready Player Me avatar that you created through its URL. So you can consider this case as that you had a game that is already established. There are humanoid characters in it. And what you want to do is implement Ready Player Me in it and use it with that. So first thing I would like to do is actually in the step 9, you can see we are checking the player prefab structure. This is something I would especially would like to show you, because this is pretty much what our avatar, our human character in the game looks like. This is most of the time what you would have. For example, I have a NowMesh agent, a player movement script, some game object activity saver for hiding and showing certain objects on my avatar. These are all fine. You might have character controller, some colliders. It all depends how your game is working. And under this prefabs root, I have a default character, which is the actual 3D mesh that holds the visual data about my character. So, which is this textureless character. It has an animator, and it has some other scripts that might be related to your game. And there's a props game object which holds certain objects. In this case, in this game, when you go to the market scene, you can actually pick up a pair of glasses from the floor and put it on your head. So it was saved here. In your game, it might be a weapon, a blade, some other object, anything. All depends on your game. But what we want to do at this stage, create a script that we are going to call avatar loader, attach this to our prefab, and then hide the default character and replace it with our Ready Player Me avatar, because this is the visual part of the character here, and we want to replace it. So this is pretty much what the player prefab is. Do you have any questions about the prefab or anything else around it that is confusing, or anything you would like to ask? Okay, I think some people had Unity frozen. Git for Mac is still downloading, very slow connection. Roxanne, I think Amel showed that you can actually download the SDK
Yes.
and import it. I will quickly show you here. You can go to Package Manager, click on the plus button, and say Add Package from Disk. So Git URL is pretty much best way to import the package. It's pretty much easy, so you do not know to download anything directly, just a copy-paste URL. But you can go to GitHub, download the package, the SDK, and then import it via this option as well, if that would work for you. So you do not need to wait for Git to install. And yeah. All right. So I assume there are no questions around the prefab. We just want to hide this default avatar and have our Ready Player Me avatar in there. Okay. So we can get to the next step, which is actually writing some code. In the workshop folder, we already have this folder called scripts, and there's a menu controller in it, which we are going to take a look later on. I'm going to right click in the project folder, go to create, and C# script context menu. So I'm going to click on it and rename it avatar loader Pascal case. So the A and L will be capital. This is a convention generally used in C#, so we will go with this. And all the code will be available in this page as well. So if you cannot follow up and if you are late, just copy paste the code. This is all fine. You do not need to try to catch up while I'm writing the code. If you listen and later copy, that is totally fine. I'm opening the script right now. I'm using Rider. That's why it takes a little while. Some of you might be using Visual Studio. Some of you might be using VS Code. But all right, I think this size of code is clearly visible, I hope. If anybody can see, I can try to make it even larger. So yeah, this looks cool, I think. Leo has a question, just a question that will, what will happen if we have a player with completely different animations and armatures? What will happen if I only change the mesh appearance? This is totally fine. You can just, if you know how to do it, you can replace the meshes and materials as well. As long as the bone structure is similar, that should work. However, what you can do is always, Ready Player Me avatars, once imported, they have an animator component on them as well. So before you test runtime loading of the avatars, you can actually load an avatar in the editor, bring your character controller and assign it into its animator and see if everything is working fine. If it does, you can later just change the runtime animation controller and everything should work for you. All right, let's continue with the code. So I created my avatar loader script and Unity gave me a boilerplate with start and update functions. I'm going to get rid of update because we are not going to use it. Start is one of the hooks we are going to use, and I'm going to remove this unnecessary libraries that are imported. So pretty much this is what I have at the beginning. Just avatar loader, mono behavior, and a start method. So like I mentioned, what I want to do is hiding this default character. So I will need to access that. And how I can do it is expose it in the inspector. In the script, I can have a field for it and later drag and drop it into my script when the component is attached and easily disable that. I'm going to go with serialized field, private game object. And I'm going to call this default character. All right. So this is how things are going to look at the beginning. Again, you do not need to try to catch up with typing the code. I'll try to take it slow. You can copy paste the code as well. And let me know right in the chat if you get stuck, and if you have any code errors or anything, we can try to help as fast as possible. So if everybody is all right with this step, I'm going to get to actually loading the avatar. So this is the part we are actually getting to use the Player Me SDK. So the class that helps us load the avatars in runtime that is coming from Player Me SDK is called Avatar Object Loader. So in the start method, I want to create an instance of this. And so when the scene starts, start method will run. This is going to work and load our avatar. This is pretty much what we want. So I'm going to create a avatar object loader. It automatically brings it to me. I'm going to call this loader and new avatar object loader. So Rider automatically brought the using line here for me, which is coming from our Player Me SDK. So make sure you also have this. Otherwise, it is going to give an error that avatar object loader doesn't exist. So make sure your code looks like this. So in my loader instance, I can actually access to load avatar method. This is what we are going to use to load our avatar. And it will require only one parameter, which is a avatar URL. So where was the URL? We actually went to Player Me website and created our avatars for ourselves. So I'll just bring my browser here. So I can go to Player Me website, get myself an avatar URL, and try loading it. I wonder if anybody had any issues with the code so far.
It seems like we don't have any questions for now about the code. We only had one question about where the avatars are cached locally, and it was answered by Harrison. He gave the path. It's under assets, Player Me avatars.
Actually, sorry, just on that, I forgot to mention, but on the device, they're actually just stored in persistent storage, but just while you're in the editor, they're stored in the project. So just a bit of a FYI. Also, while I'm talking, I think there was a link shared to a Google Drive that we had, and it's got some permission, like it's not shared, like it's not available. Do you guys know, Sarge, like did we
I think Shami is this is not our URL. I think Shami is uploading screenshots to Google Drive and sharing them, but we do not have access to. Shami, you can try to use Imgur or some other place. Maybe that would be more useful, because we do not have access to Google Drive that you share images to. So we cannot really see what the error messages are in those screenshots. Please, Harrison, if you could help with that, that would be great. So Leonardo asks just a question: why use the link and not use downloadable GLB directly? So when you go to Player Me editor and customize your avatar, the changes you make are directly subjected onto that URL. So I will show that part as well. So I'm going to load this avatar. Later, I will go to editor and change my outfit. Then I will start the game again, and I will see that change already inside the editor. So I won't need to change the URL, because from the same URL, the changes are going to come. We have a caching system inside the SDK, so it helps with all of it. I will copy the URL of my avatar. I have a very cool looking avatar right here. So I don't want to play the game with the white textureless avatar. I want a cool looking avatar in the game. So, and where I was left off is that avatar loader needs one parameter, which is a URL. So I'm going to create a string called URL here, and I'm going to paste my URL right in there. And I will move this in here. So this is pretty much it. if I run the start method, what would happen is it would load this Ready Player Me avatar in the center of the scene, and it would be just there statically doing nothing. Of course, we do not want it like that. We want to know when this avatar is loaded and apply some changes on it. So kind of do a little setup. So how can I know if my avatar is loaded? Also, the avatar object loader instance gives me a set of event listeners that I can attach methods to and get notified when certain changes happen. One of the event listeners we are going to use is on completed. So this is the method, this is the event listener that lets me know when avatar importing and downloading is done and avatar is already in the scene. So I can access to that game object and apply my changes. I'm gonna add a method to this. I will say plus equals. Let's call this method on avatar created, and I will close it. So I do not have this method yet. If you are using Visual Studio or Rider, you can click on Alt-Enter to automatically create it, or we can type that too. The signature will be a little different than you might be used to. So private void, the method name will be the same on avatar created. First, it will get an object sender that lets us know where this event was called from, and that we are not going to use in this case. But the second parameter we have actually holds the information about the avatar we just imported. Completion event args. So this is the type we are expecting, and I'm going to call this parameter args. So when this method is called, our avatar is loaded. So this is where we are going to know the avatar is already loaded. So do you have any questions up until this point about the event listener, the loader method, and this method itself? I'm checking the chat right now. There are quite a few questions. Yeah, Harrison is answering all of them already.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah, Orlando have a question about the caching and locally saving. I can actually answer this. So I can actually go to the window. This is going to be something quick. We will also have a later stage about that in the optionals. In the settings, you can see an option about avatar caching. So this comes enabled. What happens is all the avatars that you are downloading runtime are actually going into a persistent data path of the game. So those can be saved there. And next time you want to load the avatar or rerun the game, the avatar loading is instant because we already had that data. So if you apply any changes on the avatar, it will need to be downloaded again because there are mesh or texture changes. But caching is to make it faster. Of course, you can disable that, and every time you load the avatar, it is going to be a fresh download. So that is totally possible as well.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So let's get back to the code and let's finalize this. So this might look scary and all, but it is really simple. Like literally with a couple of lines of code, we are going to finish up everything. So what was our goal? To disable that default avatar we do not want to use. It's not looking good enough. So I already had a reference to it, default character up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring that here. Once my avatar is loaded, I will just set it inactive. So set active false. This game object is no more in the scene. So we disabled it. Next thing I want to do is, like I mentioned, once a Ready Player Me avatar is loaded, it's in the root of the scene and it's in the center of the scene. So your prefab might be anywhere in the scene. It might be a child of some other game object. This all depends on how your game looks like. So I want to make sure that the avatar we just imported is a child of the game object this component is attached to, and the position of it is in the 0 relative to that game object. So what I'm going to do is through the args parameter. I type arg, let's make it args. I'm going to access avatar, and I'm going to access its transform, set parent, and I'm going to set the parent to this transform, the game object this component is attached to, which is going to be our prefab. And as a second parameter, I'm going to pass false, which is a parameter for world position. That setting false means it's going to be at the 0 position. So location, rotation, and scale will be the same as the parent object. This is what we want. And this is pretty much it. We loaded our avatar, and once it's loaded, we disabled our default character and repositioned and reparented our game object. And all right, let's get back to Unity. And again, do you have any questions about the code so far? So let's finalize those, make sure everybody's aligned, and then we can get to the next step in the workshop.
Sarge, someone had a question. Can we specify which scene it loads into? The character.
I think it is going to load into where the script is run. So this is totally up to you. You can make it persistent. You can transfer the, avatars through scenes. That is also possible. As for Unity's adventure game sample, which is the sample we are using, which is available also in Asset Store, I can actually go to adventure sample game and scenes. You can take a look at all of this later yourself. For example, I can go to the security room scene, which is the first scene we had. It actually already has the character in here. So, and same actually works for the market scene, which is the second and the last scene of the game. So your game setup might be different. You might be transferring an avatar between scenes. Just like this example, you might already have the character in every scene. This is totally up to you. Thanks to the prefab system, we can apply any changes on the character, and it is going to be transferred to every scene this character was already in. So that totally depends on how your game is actually architected. And again, whichever scene the script runs, the avatar will be loaded in there.
Yes.
All right. So then let's get to do step 11. Now we are getting to the fun part. So let's go back to workshop folder, prefabs, and open up our Ready Player Me player prefab. So this textureless guy. What I want to do is the avatar loader script we just created. I want to attach that onto this character. So on the inspector menu, you can see that we have this big add component button. Let's click on it, type avatar loader, and loader. Yeah. And you should see the script already showing up. Click on it, and you should get it. Alternatively, you can drag and drop that. This is also possible. All we want is one extra component in here, which is avatar loader. And once you do that, you will see the exposed field is already here, default character. We want to bring this default character in here. So you can pick the default character under your prefab, drag and drop this into this object field, and we should already have our reference. I'm just going to Control S this just to save. Unity does it automatically, but I want to be sure. And we are all set. So what we are expecting right now, we are going to go to workshop folder, main scene. And once we run the game, start method will be hit. Default avatar will be disabled once our avatar is loaded, and we will see our Ready Player Me avatar already playing in there. So I'm gonna hit play. Moment of truth. Let's see if everything works according to the plan. I'm gonna start the game, loading, fingers crossed, and
Yes.
voila! I have my avatar in the game. In the flesh, Vulcan can interact with everything. So this is pretty much that. But is this all? Of course not. It wouldn't be nice if we just hard code one URL in the game and let people use always the same avatar. What is the difference? The idea that Ready Player Me presents you is that everybody can play your game now with their own Ready Player Me avatar. So let's try to get that working too. But before that, I'm going to take a look at the questions again and see if we have anything here. In the chat, there are quite
So
many
Shami
messages.
was mentioning an issue with the animation not working, but I think the question was asked before you actually finish the code. So if you just use the URL to load the avatar, it's normal that it doesn't get animated because it's just being loaded. So you need to finish like with the uncompleted event that Sarge mentioned. But again, don't worry, you can again find this into the steps. So I think it's on step 10 or 11 maybe. Yeah, step 10, you can find the script on the bottom. So copy that and make sure that you have that version of the script. And that should link everything. So the animation should be working. So maybe because you pressed play too early.
Yeah. Again, if you have any console errors as well, you can also share them in the chat. So we try to understand. Sometimes the script name and the class name are different. So those kind of things might cause issues too. Typos are, they always happen. Do not need to worry about those. But let's continue in the step 11. So like I said, we hard-coded a URL in the code. It's right here. This is not exactly what we want because we want everybody to use their own avatars, right? So how can we do that? We were in the main scene. There was actually something I didn't tell you. Under the canvas object, we have a hidden field. I'm going to go to game scene so we can see it clearly. If you open up canvas, you will see a disabled game object called URL field. Let's open it up. And our menu is going to look like this. There is a URL field. And then under that, we have Start Game button. So let's go ahead, open Canvas, enable that URL field, and I can tell you what is going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to take a quick look in the chat again. We have some questions going on.
We have questions under the questions tab. Yeah.
Yeah, quite many questions. I hope Harrison can rush to them as well. So there's a question, how many avatars can we load into the scene? Really, this all depends on the device specs. I remember our team made some tests loading around 200 avatars in a WebGL project. So this runs in a browser. So that was possible. Ready Player Me has avatar configurations that you can optimize the texture and the mesh settings. So, like drop the quality depending on what kind of game you are making. So it makes it quite easy to load hundreds of avatar into one scene, and it is going to work, like with a little hiccup. So that is totally possible.
Yes. And
Orlando had a question. So the avatar saved in runtime is also located in avatars. The answer is no. It goes into persistent data path of the project. So in the Unity documentation, you can find more about that if you search for persistent data path. So in the, I think it was called roaming or local love, one of those folders in Windows, at least in Linux and Mac is different. So you can actually, there is certain folders for each Unity project that you can save and load certain data to. It's like an external accessibility the game has. So the avatars will be going there. The avatar folder is only for the avatars that you load in the editor, because since they are loaded in editor, we expect them to be in the scene. That is the reason we will need direct reference to those. That is the reason they are in the project itself. And Albert has a question. Can the camera be parented to the loaded avatar at runtime? Yep, totally possible. So again, in the script, once the avatar is loaded, just like how I parented my avatar to the current transform, you can have a reference to your camera, and camera can be a child of the avatar. So you can just do that. Or just like how the setup in this game is that you can have a parent object that has the camera rig and everything ready, and then just load the avatar in that game object. All right. So I think everybody has this in the canvas. So we have our URL field. So in the scripts folder, I mentioned that we had this menu controller, and it's also in the main menu itself. So this is a simple script, just deals with the UI elements. When you click on the button, when you click on this link, it just handles those simple interactions. But also one thing I added in there is that we save and load the avatar URL you pasted in that field through player prefs. If you do not know what a player pref is, we can consider it like a very basic, simple to use save load system. You can save and load strings and integers and access them through any scene you have through script. So you have to use a keyword to save the data. For this case, we used avatar URL, and it's going to save whatever is in the input field text. So you are already covered in this case. What I want to do is I'm just going to copy this part from here, get string with the avatar URL, and instead of hard coding this GLB URL here, I'm going to replace that. So what is going to happen right now is that whatever I pasted in the menu will be saved in the player prefs. And when I hit that start button, the game will start. When avatar starts loading, instead of the hard-coded URL, it is going to use whatever you paste in the menu. So again, this code is available in the page 11. Make sure you have this line 10 already changed with the player prefs get string. And I'm going to go ahead and run the scene. I might as well go to Ready Play Me webpage. Actually, let me edit my avatar a little. Let's see what else we can do. And meanwhile, I'm looking at the chat. So
yes, we got a few questions about like customizing. Is it possible to customize the character in Unity? So I put a link in one of the questions to the Ready Player Me Unity SDK avatar creator that allows you to have the web view within your Unity app. So we have a sample project that mimics the same view that you have here that is being shown now on the screen share, but you can also fetch all these data separately and fit it into your UI. So if you want to use a specific customization UI, I will send the link again also in the chat for people who didn't see it in the. Yes, so there is a little bit of documentation there. And again, we have a blog post coming out soon that explains more how the sample works. And with Sarge, we're also working on a surprise, I would say, example on how you can create a custom creator for your Unity app.
Okay, I applied some changes on my avatar. So I have a new hairstyle and a puffy black jacket. So I'm going to go ahead, click on Enter Hub. So it is going to apply these changes on the same URL I had. I'm just going to copy this avatar URL, go back to Unity, and run the scene. So this time, instead of directly clicking on the start game, I'm going to paste my URL here. So this is the URL of my avatar, and start the game. So what I expect right now is to get that black jacket and spiky red hair. And yep, here it is. So it did work. And earlier what I mentioned was that how these changes are subjected on the same URL. What I'm going to do now is actually, again, go to Ready Player Me website and do another change on my avatar, because I want to show you that I'm not going to paste any new avatar, and from the same URL we can actually load the changes of the avatar. So let me find something interesting. Let's see, there's this Squid Game style heist outfit. So red hair, red outfit, this looks cool. So I'm gonna apply these changes. So I do not need to copy any code or anything at URL at the moment. I will just go to Unity, run it, and click on the start game. And I should have my red outfit. Let's see. And here it is. So this is pretty much how it works. And with literally 6 lines of code, we were able to get Ready Player Me working, loading avatars in runtime. And the great thing, congratulations to all of you, we implemented Ready Player Me avatar in an existing game project. So there was a game and you implemented avatars into an existing project, which is a harder thing to do than starting with a blank project.
Exactly.
So definitely go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulations. You really did great.
We have a confetti animation on the...
Yeah, please click on the page 12 and see the confetti.
Yeah, a lot of effort was put in there.
Just wait. I'll just go ahead and...
Yeah, share it.
I think I need to refresh the page. I really want to show this to people.
Exactly.
So check this out. Boom.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is pretty much it. It was really no-brainer, and this is really easy to catch up with too. All the resources will be available in here. Also, the GitHub repository has a branch called Final. You can access it from here. So the project that is already done, that has Ready Player Me SDK in it, all the changes applied are already in here. And feel free to join our Discord server and get in touch with us. If you have any questions about Unity integration or the workshop, we can also catch up. I think a couple of people still has issues in the chat. I just want to get there and help everybody get it working. So let's see who has issues, who got stuck. Let's get this sorted. I want everybody to see the game working. So Shami says that I think I forgot. Okay, yep. If you added the player prefs, everything should work. Sweet. So just play the game after the avatar comes the back in the room, loses animation. So let's take a look at that. So you mean if I leave the game, leave the scene. So I'm in the second scene. I can walk around here and go back in the scene here. Okay, it seems to be working for me. So I do not know, maybe there was something missing in the code that caused it. But yep, this is pretty much it. I think we made it in the time. We do have some optional stretch goals as well, like a settings window, the couple more event listeners, just like the avatar completed, and avatar optimization with avatar configs. But all the, I think we can wrap it up like this, and you can feel free to go discover those ones yourself. If anybody wants to stay and take a look at this together, if there is any, demand for that, we can do it as well.
Yes.
And finally, the SDK has quite a few samples already in it. When you go to Package Manager and click on Ready Player Me Core, Samples tab, you can import the samples and test them yourself and discover some of the features SDK has.
Just before looking in the stretch goals, maybe we cover the final questions.
Yes, let's do so.
Someone was asking also about if Discord is the best place to post questions or get support. So yes, I would say for now.
Yep.
And we will send the chat. I just sent in the chat the link to Discord for people who don't have the link yet. There was a question from Chiro. He asked, one thing I didn't understand, maybe it's me, can I use all of this structure? So he's referring to the web editor, the import into Unity, etc., with custom meshes. So do you mean like the avatar, custom mesh of the avatar, or something else? Or maybe you understood it differently, Sarge, I'm not sure. But
let me check Chiro's question. Maybe it's me.
typing.
Can I use all this structure, the web editor, import info? And yes, this was one of the things I also mentioned earlier. Not really covered with this workshop, but Studio has, I can give you a sneak peek, which is available, actually, not going to be.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see.
We have Asset Manager and Asset Designer that, for example, if you do not know 3D modeling that much, you can actually go to Ready Player Me Studio Asset Designer and download a PSD template, edit it, and upload it on your character. Just today, we also announced the AI texture generator. I think in a couple of hours, some news about that is going to be out there. So you can just go ahead and really quickly create textures for your outfits. This is a really novel texture generator with geometry-aware abilities. So it is really, really cool. Not something that, everybody has, to be honest. Very cool stuff. And also, if you do know how to do 3D modeling and 3D design, you can go to Asset Manager. We do have guidelines for how to create 3D outfits for Ready Player Me avatars and actually upload them into your subdomain. This was the reason we asked you to go through creating a studio account and getting access to here. So you can actually use all these features. You can customize the version of Ready Player Me that your users are using through your output, through your applications and games, totally custom. So you can go to docs.readyplayerme and check out all the possibilities it has. We have pretty cool stuff in here. I think that covers the question. Yeah, thank you so much.
That's great.
Other questions? Let's see. Anything
Someone
unanswered?
is asking if we have upcoming workshop for Unreal Engine, and the answer is yes. So we will also do something similar for Unreal users. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Do we have any other questions?
I think we have one question unanswered left. So she is new in integrating it and wants to know if I will ping when space gets bigger. So definitely just join our Discord, and when you create an avatar, you are asked to drop an email. If you drop your email to Ready Player Me website, you always will get the newsletters and the updates. You can follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. Whenever we have something new, we let the news go, and you can know if something is coming out from us. So I think that would cover it. So be on our socials, definitely. Can we apply?
Yeah, sorry.
Please go ahead, Amel.
Yeah, I was going to say, so someone was asking if we can apply custom animations. If not, would it be possible sometimes in the future? You can create your own animations. We also have a library. I actually have a blog post, not me promoting a blog post now, but we have a blog post on animation. So I'm going to send this in the chat. And we released a library with more than 200 animations that you can use. Our avatars are also compatible with Mixamo, so you can use that as well. But I'm going to send a link to the animations I just mentioned.
Beautiful. Also a question there, Sarge, maybe you can answer, about why we chose GLB over FBX for the file format.
Of course. It's a beautiful technical question. So FBX is quite popular 3D file format, and GLB is a novel format which is open source, which is open, where you can easily edit, create new GLB files from different parts without having any issue. And its power, I would say, is that it having physically based rendered materials enabled in it. FBX files only work with, I think, either Phong or Blinn materials. So they do not look the same in all the environments. When you have physically based rendered materials in your model, so the same Ready Player Me avatar in web in Unreal, in Godot, in Unity, it will all look the same. So the emission map, metalness, normals, everything will just look the same, and visually it will be how to say, the in line with all the other technologies, because the rendering will work the same on you, so same on it. And on top of that, yes, it's a open source format. It's easy to edit, like add extensions to it, compared to FBX, which is like only possible to edit it with certain software or certain ways.
Yes.
And so no more questions, it seems.
Yes, we have one
Anything else?
typing, but yeah, sounds good. The only question, but oh, okay, that was what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Yeah. So we would really love to see what you are going to make with Ready Player Me. If you have game projects you would like to implement Ready Player Me in, or some other applications, always let us know. We are really excited about content coming from the Ready Player Me users and the community. We love to share those. We love to market those.
Yeah.
And we would love to help you integrate it and make it meet with your users as soon as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, feel free to mention us on Twitter, or also share the projects on Discord. We're always happy to see what you guys are working on.
All right. I think we made it through the entire workshop. So
yes.
That was pretty much it. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining the workshop. And this was pretty much it.
Yes.
Yeah, we made it on time. I was worried that it's going to take longer, but we didn't run into many big issues. Yeah, there were issues with creating a studio account, and all your feedback will definitely be delivered to our team, and we will take care of those, so you do not run into this kind of issues again.
Yes.
So anything goes wrong, always please let us know. There is no bad feedback, so we can get to work and provide a better service.
Exactly. Thank you all again for joining. It was really nice to have you all. And yes, I think we can wrap up soon.
All right. And I would say, shall we wait for the last person, or shall we close?
It's very funny that
everyone is friendly, so we can just stay and chat. But I think for me, dinner time is coming, so I need to go feed myself.
Yeah, right. But yeah, a lot of people happy in the chat. So thank you all again for showing up and coming today and following this workshop. And yeah, I guess we can wrap up.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.